Right. So sorry for the study class because I'm in middle of company split actually. So I was in the architecture meeting where I had to cancel the class for study. So expect this kind of unexpected class miss for at least till first week of or second week of March, right? Just give me a second. All right, so let's continue with the same topic what we were discussing the last time. So how many of you having a data center work experience, at least small or whatever you have? Anyone? Or everyone is new to the data center? Yes, it is. You're already working in data center, right? Uh, right. So to understand the data center usually we discuss about the Nexus devices. That's a primary focus of the data center technology. In the data center technology, let's understand first hardware. What all the hardwares we have, which we gonna use for data center networking. Okay, especially for the Cisco. If we go for the Cisco data center, hardware upgrade, or if you want to have brownfield or greenfield deployment, what kind of architectural approach and what kind of hardware we're gonna need to deploy if we go for the Cisco solution. However, if we do not have even Cisco solutions, still there are many vendors available in the market whom you can approach for the deployment, and that's something we should be always open in terms of the deployment part, how we should be approaching if customer is saying that what about the non-data center technology, what about the non-Cisco product, how are you gonna approach that. That's something also we should be thinking of, like learn about the technology which are vendor agnostic, right? Vendor agnostic technology always will add extra in your CV. Excuse me, if you do you have any questions, Palgopal?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. I'm
Yeah.
able to hear you. There is a problem from my end in the audio. I'm just working out to fix this.
Ah, all right.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
go
Now
ahead.
it's
Yeah.
working fine, right? All right, cool. So let's understand few technologies which we should be focusing on, which should be very much vendor agnostic, especially the when you learn about the protocols, when you learn about the technologies, uh, alongside with the vendor, alongside with the vendor, alongside with the vendor. Okay, my camera is on, right? Just give me a second, guys. Alongside with the vendor, you should be always learn about
Vijay,
the technology.
Vijay, this is Balgopal here. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't
Yeah.
see anything shared or uh,
Is it for
anything is seen
everyone?
from.
I have Notepad open.
I can see.
Okay,
Sent.
okay,
We can see.
I
okay, okay. Yeah, please go
Perfect.
ahead. Yeah, I'll just check it out from my
Yeah,
end. Yeah.
yeah. Check yours in, please. All right. So let's talk about the data center. Mainly, we divided two categories. Okay, especially the networking part. Networking part. When I say the networking, it's LAN networking. Okay, LAN and WAN networking. LAN networking. That's where data center devices are going to sit here. Okay. That's where data center devices are going to be. You will not be the one who will be deciding what WAN technology we're gonna use. However, if you are solution architect, then you will be the one who will be deciding that what LAN and WAN technology we're gonna use. If you are just a data center engineer or the consultant something, then you will be always focused on the or infrastructure architect. You will be focused on the LAN networking. And that's where we have a data center technology that WAN for WAN environment, data center technology integrate with the WAN technology such as SD-WAN and SD-Access, Campus WAN, if you have any SASE solutions, that firewalls, everything will be around your data center technology. Okay, so suppose if you're having a data center, this is your data center. Okay, data center host many critical applications. Data center. Okay, and data center we have suppose for example a number of VMs, bare metal servers, applications which we have. Ask you to start AI. Anyone asking some? No, I don't want to have an AI convenient for this. All right. So suppose if you're having let's say that VMs. Okay. We have bare metal servers, bare metal servers, bare metal. Or suppose if you're having storage, or you have for example storage or slash database, or if you're having some sort of applications. These are the predominantly 3-4 categories which we deploy into a data center. In a storage, it can be backup, it can be file, MySQL servers, a lot of whatever storage you name it. Okay, they all will be belonging to the part of the storage. Now, in layer wise, where we are going to sit here, this where we have our firewalls. Firewall mainly depends on the architecture. Then we come with the WAN technology. Okay. What is your going to be this scope in a data center, and what all the devices we're gonna use, and what layer in layer we gonna have? Here, this is your DC. In the DC LAN, you have many vendors. Suppose we have a Cisco, which is a leader for now, but very soon Arista will take over. Okay, so make sure that when you learn about Cisco, you just also take one look into Arista. However, if you guys want, I can give you just brief Arista walkthrough for one class. And then you should be because Arista and Aruba, they actually form the company from the Cisco only. So if you know the Cisco, it will be easy for everyone to understand Arista and Aruba because their command syntax, their technology is 90% same with the Cisco. Okay, we have many vendor. We have many vendors. Here we're gonna have something called that DC because Cisco has a DC specialized hardware. When I say the DC specialized hardware, these are the special hardware which are made for to handle this high scalability. It should be high reliable. It should be high agile. It should be high performer for the LAN environment. These because these hardwares are designed for the specific role, and they have been tuned their ASIC card, or you can say the memory card, to manage those kind of traffics. Okay. When come to the data center, this is the security. Okay. As a data center engineer, for till 5 to 7 years of data center experience or 10 years of experience, you are okay to know about just data center. Okay. When you cross more than 10 years of experience, when you become the consultant or the architect or lead, you should be knowing that this part of also, whether it could be the firewall, load balancer, ETCs. Okay. SSL, offloader, everything. You should be knowing this one. Now, this has all the vendors. So security point of view, Cisco also provide the security. Other vendor is Aruba, a lot of other vendors, Palo Alto and other vendors also provide the security. What about the WAN? This is the service provider job. However, if you are the lead architect of your organization, you will also have to design these routing protocols. Okay, when I say the routing protocols, this will include the WAN. This will include the SD-WAN. Nowadays we call that SSE or SASE. So these technologies you should be knowing it. However, if you are the principal architect, you should be knowing these stacks also. You should be knowing the hypervisor or compute storage also. If you're the principal architect, you should have experience or exposure to your technology to all the 4-5 domains. Okay, this is where we have to target based on your experience. You cannot, there is a two things, okay? Whether you want to specialize into data center, want to specialize into security, specialize into the service provider network. Or third is a campus network, which is your uh, your offices, right? That's not the, it doesn't come into the data center. This is the data center layer. In order to become the data center gig in technologies, these all the, if you know all the 3-4 technologies, you no one going to stop you from becoming the leader in the data center. Doesn't matter how technology changes happen. It doesn't matter. All the evolutions are happening into the this layer. People are shifting from monolithic application to the AI-driven applications. They are having intelligent storage. They are having intelligent applications. All these things, all the noises are happening here. What about the data center layer where we are sitting? We are going to have some impact because if your underlay is changing, then your underlay hardware must be changing, because based on these compatibility, compute compatibility, your hardware and technology must be evolved. That's where we have data center technologies. When you come to the firewalls, for firewalls also, you should be sitting in layer number 2. This is the layer number 1. Okay. So what technology and what we are going to cover? CCNP to CCI. So whatever we are going to cover, this will cover CCNP to CCI level details. If you don't know data center, that is also fine, because you just need to know the basic networking of what is the networking. Okay. However, if you want to pursue the security, this is the security domain. That's where you have to learn about the security, not just firewall. A lot of components are there. If you pursue a career with the service provider, that's where you have these other technologies you have to learn it. If you want to pursue the data center, these all the technology you have to learn about it. Okay, if you want to be storage engineer, if you want to be the VMware engineer, if you want to be the application developer, you have to evolve into it. Or entire thing also we call that infrastructure. It means hardware level or the hardware and software level engineers. Okay. On top of it, you have also cloud. Nowadays, everyone is making noise. Cloud. However, cloud is having underneath. So before now, currently, many organizations, they need to deploy this layer of the stuff in their one room, right? However, suppose if you're having a 5 to 10 employee, or you want to have a just one application, so you do not need to deploy, purchase hardware, maintain all these things. You say that I want to rent, go to the provider, data center provider. Data center is provider what? Azure, your cloud can be your Azure, can be your AWS, can be your Google. Okay. In the end of the day, they all having a same layer, but rather than owning it, these cloud providers are saying that I am going to own this, I'm going to own this hardware. I'm going to rent out this hardware to the customers End of the day, you're not scared of everyone is learning about the cloud. That's okay. Everything is deployed still in the hardware underlay. If you go to the Hyderabad, there is a Google data center. If you go to the any Reliance, they have their own data center. They provide this page for better user experience. They say that I'm going to request one VM. In data center, we have such a way automation. You can get the one VM. If data center engineer say, cloud engineer say that I just want to have one firewall, he say that okay, I'm going to have one virtual firewall. If data center engineer say that I'm going to have an internet, they will say that okay, I'm going to provide the virtual WAN here. Okay, so physically, still clouds are maintained in the hardware. Okay, you just rather than dedicating the hardware to you, these cloud providers saying that I'm going to have a high-end computer and data center firewall and VMs, which gonna give you the better user experience without owning anything. If you go and tell this cloud provider I want to have a certain specific VM for few days, they will charge you less. If you want to say that I want dedicated storage box for me, they're gonna charge a lot, right? So that's where you have to know that how to operate the cloud also alongside with the data center, because in the other day they are integrated to each other. So that's where we say that modern data center networking. Before we were knowing that how to operate hardware, but in the latest scenario, we have to know how to operate this data center from the cloud. If you are the cloud provider, in the other day you are maintaining the data center. In India, as I said, in upcoming 5 years, we are going to build 200 AI-driven data center. These are the major data centers. It means big data center, large data centers, extra large data centers. So in technology wise, you have to, nothing will change. However, in data center, AI-based hardware will be introduced. In firewalls, real-time captures will be introduced. SSC sort, a lot of automated hardwares will be introduced. For WAN level, SD-WAN, SASE will be introduced, where we will have a less touch-based, configuration. Because WAN is also Cisco, another company saying that I will be managing 50% WAN task. Okay, rest 50% I will hand over to the customer. Here also, vendor is saying that 50% task I will manage, 50% task customer will manage. Here also, here as of now, 70 to 80% task customer is managing. So slowly, you will get to know that these all the technologies are going to be hybrid managed environment. Okay, it means none of the technologies, especially the security and the WAN environment, will be managed by the customer. Still, if you're the customer, that's bad news for you. If you are the provider, good news for you, because these are the solutions. If Cisco is saying that I will be managing 50% of data center by default, it means Cisco will need to hire the engineers who will manage the data center, right? They will not manage automatically. They will have someone sitting behind the desk and managing these data centers and the firewalls and the WANs, right? These are the things is currently going on in data center also. Now, if we talk about the hardware, let's talk about the hardware of data center. That's where our focus is. Predominantly, we have two types of LAN hardware. One is called the Nexus. Second is called the ACI. Okay. In OS level, we have NX OS, we have a ACI OS. Okay. When it comes to the hardware nowadays 9000, Nexus 9000. This is the same hardware we are going to use for the NXOS or ACI, both the things. So dual purpose hardware Cisco has been introducing. In down the line in next 5 years, you will hear NXOX will be gone. Okay, whoever is using in their existing environments, they can still continue for certain years, but future is ACI plus they are replacing NXOX with the hyper fabric based solution. So Still, as of now, we're gonna learn the Nexus because it is applicable and valid. Okay, for our environment. Let's talk about the Nexus product. Anyone, any doubt? Please, I can speak in Hindi, I can speak in English, so जिसमें भी आपको comfort feel हो, just raise your hand and speak. Don't worry
What
about it.
is hyper?
Hyper Fabric is a new solution which is replacing the NDFC, where 50% of the task will be managed by the Cisco, 50% will be done by you in data center. That's what I was saying, that SASE is what? 50% vendor, 50% customer. In data center also, they are doing the same thing.
Okay.
And these are the AI-driven boxes. They have a GPU-based support. They have 800, 400 gigabit interfaces rather than having a 10 gig or 5 gig.
Okay.
We'll discuss that. That's a separate. We have a class with the lab. No worry about it. Okay. Let's talk about the Nexus family. Okay. This is the hardware we have. So this is the Nexus hardware. When come to the Cisco Nexus boxes in generation 1 of the data center, generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, and generation 4. These are the generation of the hardware. So here Cisco introduced the Nexus 4000, Nexus 5000. Okay, these were the hardwares no longer applicable now. Some environment may have a Nexus 5000, which must be end of life, end of sale. However, and they were running only NXOS, iOS operating system. No, what makes them, totally different? The problem was scalability. Because modern data center, they require to have a, initially when data center started, what was the download and upload speed? kbps, right? It was 200 kbps, 100 kbps, 5 kbps is download speed. Now the moment data center evolved, they required to have an mbps, from kbps to mbps, like 100 mbps, 500 mbps, then gbps. Okay, then scalability is the main concern. Agile agile it was not agile, so you have a lot of time issue where if you want to upgrade, downgrade, if you want to configure, it was too much complicated to operate, and it was not cost effective. It was too expensive to operate these hardwares. Then Cisco came up with a plan saying that I'm going to have introduced they discontinue in generation 2, they introduce the 7000 modular. Cisco said that uh, I'm going to introduce one separate hardware for the scalability point of view. Suppose if you want to have 500 ports in single device, do we have any devices such like that? Answer is no, right? You want to have, suppose, 1000 servers, because till here there was no cloud. If you want to host 1000 servers, in that case you have to have a device which can support a terabyte of high throughput speed with the moderate uh, latencies. In that case, Cisco introduced the one new model which called the Cisco Nexus 9000, which was a modular, where you can customize your port, your number of the interfaces, how many 1 gig interface you want, how many 5 gigabit interface you want, how many 10 gig interfaces you want. This was the option where Cisco was very optimistic into it. Alongside this, Cisco introduced one 7000 and then upgraded the version of 7000, 7700 alongside with the Nexus 9000. That's where they have introduced ACI intro. Okay, in generation 3 of data center. That's where they have introduced the ACI alongside with the NX OS. We have a ACI also operating system. Now, same modules, whatever we were getting here from Nexus 4000, 5000, 7000, everything has been replaced with the Nexus 9000. Sorry, here we have Nexus 3000 also, my bad. All the ultra low latency hardwares. Okay, here we have a Cisco in generation 3. Cisco said that I am going to compensate all these hardware with the one particular model which called the Cisco Nexus 9000. They have all announced as the end of life, end of sale. Some of the hardware you cannot even purchase or support. Cisco does not support, especially the 5000, 7000. 7700, some customer may have been currently using it. I've seen that. However, Nexus 9000 has been compensated for all these hardware which they have. So currently, what Cisco operates, Cisco having just two hardwares. Which hardwares are? Nexus 9000, Nexus 3000, I think is still valid. Not pretty much sure, but this is the one. Also, Cisco introduced Nexus 6000 for the GPU base. Because now in generation 4, everyone is talking about, they want to have AI application. What is the AI application basic fundamental for data center engineer point of view? For AI-based data center fundamental is we want to have a high throughput. We want to have a ultra low latency in an environment. We want to have our server to support 400 gigabyte or 1 terabyte speed per second. So that kind of requirement, because nowadays a lot of open source applications are being built, and these open source applications need a better access with the ultra low latency. Otherwise, if suppose in generation 4 thought of data center environment in 21st century, if you are trying to access and you feel like it's buffering or taking too much time, you get annoyed because we do not have patience to operate GPU based system, CPU based system now. That's the reason GPU based system has been introduced. And future, I believe that Nexus 9000 also they are working on this. I think they have already released one box, Nexus 9000, with the GPU base alongside with the CPU. So Cisco give you option GPU and CPU both because GPU is a bit expensive for generation 4 data center. Now let's talk about more in these devices. Okay. So what all the fixed module, what all the modules we have, and what are the difference between them? Okay. Any questions still here? Taking as a no. So suppose you have a two components. Okay, one is a fixed module. This applicable for all the environment. Nowadays, even for campus network also they have introduced. Suppose you have purchased the hardware and which has a limited port. Either you can go by 32 or 48 or 96. These are the fixed module. You cannot customize your port. You cannot, if you purchase 32 port switch, you will get 32 port switch. In future, if you want to add one or two more ports, you will have no option. You will have to purchase the new hardware for it. Okay. On top of it, you will have everything inbuilt. You will have a CPU memory, and the processor. Everything in a single circuit. You will have it. This is you will have a fixed port and resources. You cannot increase your CPU, you cannot increase your memory, you cannot increase your processor, you cannot increase your ports. That's is the what is fixed module means. What about the modulars? So for modular, you purchase one box, you purchase your chassis. Okay, chassis. In the chassis, you have a multiple model. You want to have a 4-slot chassis, you want to have 8-slot chassis, you want to have 16-slot chassis. Okay, you want to have 9-slot chassis. I mean, there are multiple for each module, each product. We have different chassis available. Now, 4-slot chassis means only you can have a this kind of 4 type of devices you can insert. So 32 ports, 48 to 96 devices you can insert here 4 times. We call that line card data plane. The only advantage this slot will have a 2 CPU for high availability. CPU 1, which will be active, CPU 2 for high availability. So in modular basis, you have one advantage where you can, here you're gonna get this one CPU, one memory, everything is single. If one fail, you will lose everything. Okay. However, here we have advantage in chassis where you can have a device locally, one single device level high availability. Protocol level high availability is different. But in modular chassis, if you're going with that, you can customize your high availability locally. If suppose one CPU fail, you can say that without disruption, my second CPU should be taking over. If suppose one line card fails, you can design such a way, you can say that another line card should be active for me. That's the reason you have this kind of a chassis based module, right? Now, if you go for the chassis basis, you have, as I said, multiple slots available. Suppose if you require 100 ports, what chassis module if it's selected? If you require 200 ports, if you require 500 ports, what chassis you will purchase? And how many slots it will be available based on the modules. So what is the advantage and disadvantage of having a fixed module, fixed device means you will have a less cost. Also, you will have a disadvantages. You cannot get the high availability local level. CPU is one, scalability, device port level you have a limited. You cannot extend any port. But in chassis, you can customize your hardware based on your requirements. Suppose if you want 10 gig interfaces, if you want to have 50 10 gig interfaces, if you want to have 100 10 gig interfaces, you can customize based on your hardware capability. Okay. Plus, you can provide the high availability for CPU rather than depending on the protocol level high availability, where you configure, like suppose in the Catalyst we configure the stacking and stack wise nowadays, right? Or VSS in Catalyst. Here also we have BPC and other technology which you can use it, but that is a protocol level. Here, device itself providing the high availability for chassis. Okay. Any doubt here? We'll discuss more deep into these chassis and everything. Okay. Now,
Vijay Pargopal here.
yeah.
So you are telling about the ports, right? 100, 200, 500 scalability of the number of the ports. So it can be of different speeds, right? 10 gig, 100, or what
Yes,
type of?
it's a mixed. As I said, it's a customized. Customized means based on your requirement, you can customize it.
Okay. Okay.
Suppose if you want to have a 32 10 gig ports plus, suppose let's design one. Okay.
Okay.
In this is the 4-slot chassis. It means 4 line card I can insert, 4 data plane. Line card number 1, line card number 2, for example, line card number 3. There is a device chassis limitations also. Okay, how many total ports you can get it. So accordingly, you have to adjust your requirement. 32 ports, 32 into 1 gig, for example. Okay.
Okay.
You have 48 into 10 gig.
Okay, got it.
Okay, you have suppose 16 into 100 gig, for example. Okay, you have
Mhm.
40 gig. Sorry, you have suppose 15 or 25. Doesn't matter how many hardware you
Mhm.
purchase into
Mhm.
40 gig. If suppose you want 25 gig, 24 ports of 40 gig,
Mhm. Mhm.
Cisco will not say that I'm going to send you 24 ports. Okay, Cisco will
Mhm.
say that I'm going to send you 32 port switch.
Mhm.
That's a fixed one, but you can purchase your license for 24, 25 ports.
Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
so that will customize your cost also.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, now
Got it.
if we go for this here and search here Cisco Data Center Switching. This is the Cisco official site. That's where do not rely on the any PPT or anything because Cisco keep changing their hardwares every month. So always rely on this official page of the Cisco for the hardware point of view. Okay, here we have uh, these technology. If you see that we have a fix, we have a modular.
Mhm.
Okay, there is a two types of devices. However, they have introduced ultra low latency devices also.
Mhm.
Okay, storage devices also, management platform devices also, smart switches also they have introduced. Okay, however, let's focus on the fixed and modular. Okay, in fixed if you see that only the 3 series of switches is available currently: 3000, 9000 and 6000. That's where is generation 4 of the data center, right?
Mhm.
3000, 9000, 6000. Because 5000 devices are end of life, end of sale, even 7000 also.
Got
The
it.
concept is same. The only problem was they will not scalable. They were not programmable. Few feature like VXLAN and other stuff was not supporting. API was not that great. Automation was not that great on those hardwares, right? That's where when we have these hardwares which are ultra low latency and they have better programmability, they have better API supports. So these hardwares are still Cisco selling. Now, if you go for for example, 3000 series switches, which are ultra low latency switches, these let's suppose if they have still an XOS, you will see that here, customize your network. API programmability is vastly used in these hardwares. Then this is scalability. This support the VXLAN. Main thing is this one. This one. If you decode this, suppose, just give me a second. If you open this, these are the model number 3000 series: 3600, 3500, 3400, 3200, 3100, 3100V. These are the virtual switches. Okay. Now, if you open 3600, 3500, what they have difference in between them? If you open 3000, VXLAN it does not support. Okay. So make sure that what protocol you want to use. 10 gig, maximum 10 gig port, 4. Total this switch having a 48 ports switch. Okay. This is the main thing. Look here, 3100 also having a multiple models: 64 ports, 32 ports, 72 ports, 28 ports. They have these versions, they have this technology. However, these are the one thing. Where is the latencies which supports? Just give me a second. This is 3400. This is the 3500. Where is the okay switch latency? Look here, nanoseconds. Usually, when switches you purchase, they support the microseconds or subseconds. This is the nanosecond switches. So between the ports, this is the between the ports. If suppose if you have two ports, they want to talk to each other, they will have a nanosecond latencies. Okay, 3600, 3500. What about these latencies? They do not, they have not given these latencies. This one, look here. So which model? This 32 having a 450 nanosecond latencies. But if you go for the higher model number 3500, they have a 250 nanoseconds latencies. These all the things for the port customization. Don't worry about this one. Okay, they have a port customization. Some switches will have 24 ports, 48 ports, and all these things. Main thing for these switches are these one, switching latencies. Okay, 3600 I think they have not given, but it should be less than 250 nanoseconds. Okay, it depends what hardware. This is the.
So, uh,
Mhm.
Vijay, one question. When they measure the latency, right? Are we saying the latency is across when the latency is measured when you send the traffic across all the ports at the same time, or it is just port to port? I think
All
it
the
is
ports,
all the
all the
ports.
ports within the switch. If suppose
Uh,
traffic is receiving from port number one
correct.
source, and traffic is leaving from port number two, whether it's within the switches or externally, how much
Mm-hmm.
time your traffic is spending in the
Mm-hmm.
switch. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is the
suppose
latency. Uh-huh.
that is the latency. So suppose
Mm-hmm.
its traffic is coming from here, port number one. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ingress is coming and
Mm-hmm.
egress is going out.
Mm-hmm.
So how much time is going to spend your traffic here?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
if you have this will have a nanoseconds, this will
Got
have
it.
a microseconds, this will have a seconds. This is the main
Mm-hmm.
funda
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what vendor charges you for. If they are saying that I will support in nanosecond is very fast. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
especially the 200 is the 1/10 of your seconds, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
microseconds. You have a
Got it.
seconds, you have a microseconds, you have a
Nanosecond.
nanoseconds,
Okay.
right? So these switches are very common to find from any vendor. These are the special hardware which has been designed to handle this kind of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Their switching must be very fast. Their routing, their CPU must be very capable enough to handle that
Correct.
kind of traffic. If you see that 3000 series switches, these are
Mm-hmm.
the standard usually get there.
Got it.
3000 model number. These are microseconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the more higher version and better version you go for, the more better latency you get.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But
depends on your model number. Yeah.
correct. But here they have not told what type of ASIC or CPU they are using, right? Nexus 3K, or they
Yeah,
will
so we
never.
have to go for the specific. Suppose let's go for this one. We have to go for the data sheet of the hardware. Okay,
Oh, okay.
this is the just generic comparison.
No.
This is the
Okay.
data sheet of it.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, if we this is the data sheet, this will see that this is what the interface is. This is the switch
Mm-hmm.
looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go for they have a deck, ASIC. Look here, saying that ASIC. Just give me a second. This must be the ASIC type. Just ASIC type nano.
Mm-hmm.
There
So
must be the option to where we can understand the hardware
that's
ASIC
fine.
detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they must be having a special ASIC which has been designed to handle usually Cisco design software on chip SoC
SoC.
and
Okay.
BOQ.
Okay.
Okay, these are the two chips type
Uh-huh.
which usually 7,000 devices, 9,000 devices having it. However,
Okay.
if you're having a 9,000 devices,
Uh-huh.
okay, they will have a SoC
Uh-huh.
plus ACI leaf spine. This is the switch ASIC number, ASIC ID.
Uh-huh.
They will have ACI leaf spine or ACI leaf engine,
Mm-hmm.
ACI spine engine. They have three categories of the ASIC. But
Okay.
all devices nowadays are coming with the dual ASIC. One is
Dual.
SoC which will manage the NXOS.
Mm-hmm. System
Okay,
on chip,
this will
SoC
manage
we call, or
yeah,
okay.
system on chip.
Okay.
System on chip, that's SoC. And these ALC, ACI, leaf
Mm-hmm.
spine engine, ACI
Mm-hmm.
leaf engine, ACI
Mm-hmm.
spine engine, depends on the model number.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Okay, so all the hardware which are coming nowadays, they are
Mm-hmm.
coming with the dual ASIC. One is
Got it.
SoC is mandatory, and they will have a training with the better SoC, all these things
Mm-hmm.
they
Got
are
it.
introducing into it. Okay.
Sure, Vijay, we can proceed. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, there must be the option in the hardware architecture. This is not hardware architecture. I was just looking into it. That's fine. This is the, you can decide whether you want to have a copper-based switches, whether you want to
But
have a, fiber-based switches.
yeah.
Also, this is also matters to you. What is the overall capacity which switch can
Mm-hmm.
handle? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is your main capacity,
Okay.
3.3 billion packet per seconds.
Okay.
This is the reason these switches are, the famous one, because they have ultra low latency, and they can
Mm-hmm.
handle billions of packet per seconds. Okay, transition.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're having 6 terabyte of the traffic, that is also, these switches are also capable enough to
Mm-hmm.
handle this without
Mm-hmm.
choking it. Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Now, if you go for the higher end 3500 and the
Mm-hmm.
version, if you go for 3600, for example,
Mm-hmm.
let's go for the 180 ports. This is the switches. So they will have, suppose for example, 10, 20 gig ports, 100 or 40 gig ports. They can have it. How many? 6 port, 1, 2, 3, 6 port. They can have either 100 gig or 40
Mm-hmm.
gig, or remaining
Mm-hmm.
ports, whatever they have, they
Mm-hmm.
can go with the 1 gig to 10 gig to 25 gig
Mm-hmm.
interfaces. Okay. They also have a standard, MAC security. They can also be
Mm-hmm.
the cloud security. They
Mm-hmm.
have XML based extension also. They can support programmability. This is the native programmability they have. They have
Mm-hmm.
OpenStack plugin. It means any language can be
Mm-hmm.
used to configure these devices. Any tools can be used for the programmability. This is also
Mm-hmm.
mandatory and important to understand what level of automation you want to have in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
have active optimal cable for DAC cable, all these things. If you go for the support VPC, they do support, uh, these are the range, how many MAC they have, this much traffic, okay, that which can support. This is the
Vijay,
packet bigger than 1.1. Yep.
Vijay, one question. Do we? I'm not much aware of this VPC technology. It is more of a redundancy VPC
Yeah,
virtual.
it's high availability protocol, just like
Oh,
HSRP, VRRP we have.
yes, 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 yes.
So here we have a BPC, which has a different way of managing your hardware. Okay,
Oh,
it
okay,
enhance your performance of your hardware rather
okay.
than
Uh-huh.
creating the high availability for your environment. It
Mm-hmm.
give you the activity resiliency for the two devices.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we'll have separate class for it. No
Sure,
worry
sure,
about it.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is the just your Nexus 3000. I will be discussing architecture, how this architecture works. Okay,
Okay.
don't worry about it. Now, if you open the Nexus 9000, for example, these are
Mm-hmm.
the 9000 three switches. They have a 9200, which is for the out of band for like normal 100 Mbps, because in the data center, you still have some sort of, like for example, management interface or something where you want to connect, you don't want to use 10 gig interface, right? They are expensive. Cisco has given you the one model number called the 9200 dedicated for the management point. So all the your server, all the switches, switch management interfaces, you can connect with these switches. Okay, they have like 48 1 gig ports. Okay, you can have that kind of, usually used for the top of the rack management switches.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you go for the 9300 switches, 9300 model number,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these are the fixed 9300. In the 9300, they have variety of products. Okay, they have, if you open the compare the model number, they have
Mm-hmm.
variety of products. You'll see that copper, fiber,
Mm-hmm.
then 40 to 100 gig ports. They have a 1 to 10 gig ports copper base. They have a
Mm-hmm.
fiber ports for all these 1 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 50 gig ports, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a dedicated hardware for the 40 to 100 gig ports. If I open this, for example, they have 400 gig ports also. This is the new switches they have been introducing. Okay, Nexus 90, 400 gig ports also they have. They have 800 gig ports also. They are very expensive devices. Okay, so Cisco is keep introducing a lot of devices which are uh, as per your
Uh,
convenience. If you
I
open,
had a question. So if we have this Nexus 9300, it says like 10, 15, 25 gig ports. So uh, we can use any speed, right? Within it should not be it is
yes,
maximized speed
yes,
that can be used, right?
yep. So same port you can use as a 1 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 50 gig.
Like if it is compatible to 50, you can use till 50. If it is 25,
Yes,
till 25 you
you
can
can
use.
use a 25. Yes.
Sir, I have a
Okay.
doubt. Can I tell?
Yep.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's suppose for my DMZ zone, for the web server facing, that could be connected with our Nexus 9300. So how
Mm-hmm.
it will be operated? Because in our environment there is a Catalyst 9500 series is also working in there. So how it
Mm-hmm.
would be operated in Nexus, and can you describe the scenario basis how it would be deployment in a Nexus?
Come again, Rahul, if you don't mind if you read the question.
Yeah, I just gonna be tell you that for my DMZ site or or the non-DMZ site, how it would be operated through the Nexus, because we are also use the Catalyst group of the Cisco
Yeah,
series.
so as I said, as per your convenient, if you're having a high performance servers, okay, Catalyst switches you can use it. As I said, it's all about the money. Okay, in Catalyst switches we usually connect two switches and connect the servers behind it, right? And connect those Catalyst switches to some firewalls and upfront, right? Suppose this is your firewall
Yeah,
or
also
load
my
balancer.
internal firewall is connected. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is how your DMZ, traditional legacy DMZ. This is the
Yeah,
legacy
yeah, yes,
DMZ
sure.
Catalyst and Catalyst, right? But this scenario has changed. If you go for the three-tier architecture, this is the scenario you're gonna have. If you go for the two-tier architecture, leaf and spine, okay?
Okay.
If you're having a leaf and spine,
Mm.
like this modern architecture, if you go for the legacy architecture, you still want to replace this catalyst, you just simply currently must be using stacking, right? Stacking between these two switches. You can simply replace the your Nexus, these devices,
Okay.
same architecture you can use.
But
Instead
that
of
would be
stacking, we
deployed
can
with
use
the
it.
spine and leaf. Sorry, sir,
No, you
interview.
can,
But that would be,
yeah.
yeah, tell me.
So you can architect any design, okay? It's not mandatory to go with the leaf and spine. Okay, this is the option number one. Okay, this is the option number two. In if you refreshing your hardware and architecture, because many customers prefer to refresh their hardware, not to architecture, right? They want to have a like to like design, and because they scared of refreshing their architecture. But if you
So
get opportunities, yeah.
let's suppose my code switch is 9200 series of Catalyst, and my management switch is 9200 also. That like
Mm.
that how it could be connected with my Nexus group that I will manage to my through my management VLAN through to access. So how it would be work in this scenario, sir?
Just give a second. Suppose if you're having out of band management switches, right? Your OOB switches,
Yeah.
which is 9200, right?
Yes.
9200. So you can connect. So as I said, if you're having you cannot mix Nexus and Catalyst together, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially the stacking, especially when you have two switches which are interconnected, because BPC and spanning tree having a lot of complication design complication into it. When you purchase one set of hardware, you purchase a stack of hardware, right? Either you go with the one or with the same switches, or you do not deploy that kind of switches, right? Suppose if you're having this two scenario, right, where you have a catalyst switches are also connected, are running parallelly, you can connect like this management switches, and you can parallelly build your data center also, leaf and spine architecture, where you can connect your all the WAN here, WAN, firewall, and your servers like this. This is your leaf and spine architecture way of moving it. You can either WAN you can connect to the directly to the firewall, or you can connect to your leaf switches. This is a leaf, spine. Okay, this is the compute or VMs for XYZ. This is the firewall. This is your SP. Or you can directly connect your SP to the, to the here and, send your traffic flow like this. I mean, as I said, architecture is up to you, how good you are and what level of, stuff you're looking for. That depends on you. Suppose if you want to send the traffic outside, you have option one. Sorry, option one, traffic flow. Second option is you can send like this, run the PBR, then send like this. Both way, whether you want to have overhead on the switches or you want to directly pass through the firewall. It depends on you. But keeping the overhead by the firewall doesn't make sense. So always keep this option as away if you want to. Otherwise, you can always have both the options. This is your DMZ stack. Okay. This is generic DMZ. Okay. You can have many other way of doing this stuff. This is the generic DMZ stack you can create. In the DMZ stack, not just a firewall, you have a load balancer, you have all the SSL offloader, everything you can deploy here itself, right here.
Yes, yes.
So you have to play with the. So we're gonna have a leaf and spine architecture discussion, okay? And we'll discuss many scenarios into it. But if you want to, club between them, if you suppose you have a catalyst core switches, okay? Core switches are catalyst, and you want to have some Nexus devices, right? Here, like this, as access switches or anything like that. Okay, you just simply here you just run the. Sorry, I'm just distracted to another topic. VPC, and you just port trunk these ports, spanning tree. You cannot have a VPC based port channel here. This is you can stack. This is like you do like this. Port channel. Okay, you can have like this design also. So you will have separate running this one, you will have separate running this one, but you cannot have active devices as a Nexus because of the core is active standby for you.
But
Okay,
sir,
but if you
that
have
means, yeah, sir, that means my management VLAN can be passed through Catalyst to Nexus also.
obviously, so traffic
I
has
should not
no
be worried about it.
issue. Yeah, there is no issue in traffic passing. Okay, it doesn't matter what devices you have, either if Nexus, Aruba, Arista, doesn't matter. They can pass through any VLAN anywhere. It depends on your configuration. If you're having a trunk, they will pass. If you're having layer 3 routing, they can pass through. Okay, it depends. Your architecture, what exactly you're looking for.
Yeah, that actually I want to know that the Catalyst group 9200 series of switch, it could be passed the management VLAN to my Nexus group. That's what.
Obviously, they can. If you're having a trunk port, right, between them, or layer 2 in the Nexus, they can pass through like this. It's not a big deal. Okay, just make sure that you
Got your point.
between the catalyst and Nexus, you have proper spanning tree running if you are running the spanning tree. Okay, because these Nexus devices, they support RSTP by default, and if you're having a PBST here, so make sure that you make that is intercompatibility protocols. Okay, because for that particular VLAN, you might have to check the compatibility of your RPBST. That's a spanning tree level stuff you have to do it. Because if you're having PBST, if you're having RSTP, then intra protocols compatibility must be checked. Make sure that the root switch is your outer band switches, not the Nexus devices, in order to forward the traffic. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If not, let's go into the copper switches. Okay. In the copper switches, if you see that here, there are many models in 9300. What all these models? These models are basically port, and what all the generations they have. If you see that here, SE generation, TX, EX, FXP, FX, FX3, FX2, FX3. These are the generations of the hardware, okay, and their capability. This is the throughput. This is the capacity of your hardware. Plus they have how many ports. What is the latency? You see here, microseconds latency in the Nexus devices. These devices cannot handle your AI-based applications. Okay, and they have operating system support. They supports some switches support only one, some switches support the ACI and ACI and NXOS both. See here. Plus see here, these are the hardware which supports the how many OpenSonic OS also for hyper fabric based solution. So these
Mm.
switches are now being introduced for the hyper fabric based solution also alongside with this here. So now you can say that the same hardwares before supporting the two images now it supports the three images.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sonic, which is open,
Okay.
and XOS, which is a good thing. So these hardware Cisco don't want you to feel they are giving the new solutions, right? So Cisco want to stick your hardwares and everything whatever you are using, and the moment they have very good roadmap for 10 years. If they are making today hardware, they will consider that this hardware might be we can customer can reuse to another solution. This way Cisco can sell the better solution, and they will be in ahead of game, right?
So, and just one point. So, if they are using Sonic, right? So, the Sonic can be run on any other hardware, right? So it is since it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
open.
So that is what saying that. That is
Okay.
what saying Cisco said that. Cisco saying
Uh,
that people are fed up of using NXOS and ACI. Okay.
mm-hmm.
I want to be the guy because Cisco is not just competing with the your Aruba Arista now. Cisco
Mm-hmm.
is also competing with the Nvidia. And what's the age of Nvidia? Nvidia has advantage. It can support the Sonic OS. And
Mm-hmm.
AI-based hardware
Mm-hmm.
don't even care what NXOS, what ACI OS is using because these OS are having a lot of latencies in
Got
the
it.
programmability. Okay,
Got it.
and
Got it.
Sonic OS is simple and
Uh-huh.
easy to operate plus faster than these operating systems. They do not have too many bugs or something, right?
Got it. Got it.
So that's the reason these hardwares now being designed to handle the based on the customer choice. If customer
Mm-hmm.
want to be loyal for the Cisco plus
Mm-hmm.
also inclined towards the some other solution,
Mm-hmm.
Cisco said that, you know what, if you're looking for Aruba, Arista, or any vendor, what they
Mm-hmm.
support, Sonic, right? I can give you the better price. You can run Sonic OS in my hardware. Getting my
Got
point.
got
So
it. Got it.
this is where Cisco is playing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Got it. Got it.
If you go for the fiber base, these are the fiber base switches. So here fiber base also, these are the new generation 3 switches, FX, EX, and SE. They have a generation wise, which I will discuss what is that naming convention meaning. Okay, let's discuss about naming convention meaning if we go for ahead for this. Okay, if you go for the Nexus, N means Nexus 9300 model, 93 means 9300 model, 180 means 180 total ports it is supporting. Okay, then you have a, let me name meaning. They have a, the model number which you read the name of the switches itself represent the it indicates the capability of the switches. Okay, if you see here, look here, ChatGPT is very good. See here, 193 means 9300 model, 180 means you donate the capability of the ports. Okay,
Got it. Got it.
why means it present the 25 gig Ethernet ports. C means it support the cloud computing also. EX means it supports this is the basically provide you the capability of your ASIC model number. Okay, this is not giving the proper giving answer. Just give me a second. Let me give. There is a meaning of EX and FX. Generation 2, generation 3, generation 1. Okay. Uh, I had somewhere noted. Just give me a second. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So each hardware having a, so you suppose any hardware you read, for example, this hardware. Okay. This is the Nexus 7000. Nexus 7000. This is the model number. This many ports you have. FQ. What is the meaning of F? F means it says that 40 gig interface. Q means QSFP is going to support. Similarly, this is the EX and FX is define your capability of your hardware. If I go here and say that where is EX, FX? Suppose FX is go. If I go for the here, it's not giving here properly. But if you compare with the capability of your your latency compatibility of your memory and the CPU TCAM table, they will have a larger TCAM table. FX means this is the latest generation of the hardware, which is say that fixed. You see the FX2E, FX2, just give me a second. If you see that 33 ports, look here. FX2 just will have a limited number of the 40 to 100 gig ports. If you go for the extension, it will have 40 to 100 gig port only. Just give me a second. I need to, I've seen this. Nexus.
So when you say E means it's an extension ETCAM or it is internal TCAM or the TCAM entry will be.
No, it's not ETCAM. I have noted down somewhere, but this represent the capability of hardware alongside with the TCAM table. FX mean okay, Cisco. Let me note down Cisco Nexus EX versus FX switches. Okay, here we go. Might have okay, here we go. See here the EX and FX. So basically, as I said, they have a much more maximum number of the tables they will have. So this EX was the generation 2, FX was the generation 3. Okay, so this will have a much more bigger table CPU memories compared to the EX version. Main thing is just give me a second. I must, here we go. I think this is the one I was looking for. Not really. Oh, come on. What they are giving me nonsense. I will open. I need to open my drive where I've kept that. I've noted down everything. So as I said, this represent the capability of the switches. Also, when you go for the FX and EX, you will have to check here what model number you're going for. Okay, EX will never support all the switches at a 100 gig or 40 gig ports. They will have a limited 40 to 100 gig ports. If you go for the FX, FX will have a more 40 to 100 gig ports alongside with the it can go it can have a better memory and CPU. If you go for the FX3 will have more 100 gig to 40 gig ports. If you go for the LD version of this, LD version will have a more 100 gig ports. Okay, if you see that EX, it will have just 40 gig ports, right? There is no 100 gig. You either go 40, 100. If you go for the FX was enhancement of the EX version, which will have better latencies only. Okay, alongside with some routing table enhancement and all these things. If I go for the FX3, which is a enhanced version of FX, this will say that I will have a few more buffer power is more. This is a more typically power. Hybrid PTP is bit enhanced. There are a lot of things which has been made. If you go for the FX2, it will say that I'm going to have 100 gig 12 ports. If you go for this model number, which is not FX, which is the latest one, 400 represent the 400 gig ports it supports. Also, it has a 1600 gig port supports. I mean,
Hello.
as I said, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, sir, actually, I have a question. So, as we are discussing regarding the different models, so I just need to understand that are we going to have the design lectures also, like because we know the hardware, but we don't know which hardware to select when,
Obviously. Yep.
right? Right. So,
That's where.
Yeah.
So before discussing the architecture, the first class will be architecture only. So before discussing the architecture, you should be aware of the hardware, how many hardwares we have. Then only we can go ahead and say that, okay, this is the hardware and these are the specifications. That's where we are going to use it. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create the first design, okay, with the requirement. Then we'll say that let's create the billing of material. Okay. We'll create the live billing of material and we'll walk through what all the things we need to order from Cisco.
Okay, so like taking any hypothetical requirement of a number of servers and what should be the oversubscription and fabric bandwidth and all, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
We will creating I usually create the billing of material in the classes, live classes. Okay, so you will have a hands-on for the real also. We're gonna have a hypothetical scenario like how many servers we have, what is the customer expectations. Accordingly, we can select the solutions and design and what all the capability we need in the switches. Okay, if you're going to cover the NXOS, we're gonna discuss first NXOS part of it. If you go for the ACI, we'll discuss the ACI billing of material.
Okay, so like they can be having two different solutions. One is ACI based, one is non-ACI based, like traditional legacy one, right? Okay,
Yes.
and is it something like I see that these days AI workflows are also getting enabled on the data center devices. So are we going to include that part also?
Obviously, my entire class. So we have a dedicated hyper fabric. Okay, that hyper fabric where we are using this one. You see that here, hyper fabric. So I take the separate dedicated class for hyper fabric. Okay, so don't worry about
so
it.
can I say that after this like classes or overall course, so we will be able to design the data center solution? Can I say
Obviously,
that?
so you can say that, but it depends on your capability. Okay, if you have a better knowledge of ACI and the Nexus, then I would say that if you're confident, you can design the data center. Okay, but however, if you go for the data center design, okay, 50% is before we used to design from scratch, right? So 50% of the architecture is predefined nowadays.
Correct.
So only 50%
right.
of the architecture where we have to use your brain to cope up all the solutions, especially the integration part of the third parties, right? Like firewalls, load balancers, service provider, security, all these things matters to you. As a data center engineer, you don't think like you only care about the LAN. No, as a data center engineer, anything happen in the infrastructure, they will come to you only. Say that my server connected to you is not communication, troubleshoot it. Sometimes you have to troubleshoot server also, right? So as a data center engineer, you will have a whole scope as I initially discussed. Okay, you have three layers, and in the end of the day, always blame will be this layer. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you have a this layer issue, this layer issue, this layer issue. You will be always in between the sandwich here, right?
Right. And one more question. So, why I'm asking more on the design side, because actually I'm into the design profile. So usually we have different like courses where we have more on the troubleshooting side or more the implementation side. So it's a like what part of the course would be covering design and
so there is
and
two things. Okay, so first I cover that Nexus module. Second, I cover the ACI. Okay, Hyper Fabric. Then we cover the compute. We'll cover that SAN. We cover the automation. Okay, alongside this, we cover the architecture alongside with the migration scenarios.
Okay.
Sir, with the Nexus,
Because
that could be hello.
yeah,
With the Nexus, sir, you will also share the scenario basis how it would be deployed properly.
yeah, obviously, as I said, so I will be showing you the one or two scenario. However, you can add
Yeah.
on saying that I want to see this scenario, right? I can add based on customize based on your what you want to have, right, in the architecture wise.
Yeah. Moreover, the market standard, the what the scenario is going on, and mostly are favorable that you will have to survive.
Exactly. As I said, I am the working professional. Okay. I do the architecture part alongside with the migration and everything in hands-on with
Mhm.
that. So I prefer to go with the architecture where latest data center technologies are being deployed, right? Rather than discussing three-tier architecture and architecture. I'm not going to discuss those architectures because nowhere these architectures are used currently in new data center and will not be sustained for a long time. Even though some customer having that architecture, they will have to transit into the new architecture. Okay, so we're gonna have that scenario base where I'm going to just discuss latest architecture. Okay, suppose what VXLAN architecture we can have it, what ACI architecture we can have it in best cases, what hyperfabric architecture we're gonna have it, what if we club entire thing in a single solution, how architecture will work, how you migrate from legacy three-tier architecture to the greenfield, okay?
Mhm. Okay.
How you migrate your non VLAN based solution to the VXLAN based solution. I will be showing in the live classes, in the live lab, okay?
Okay, and there will be like the connectivity between the DC and DR. What are the different ways to connect, and what is like failover
Yes,
scenarios?
yes.
All those things will also be there, right?
Obviously, yes.
Okay.
DCDR. So as I said, nowadays DCDR concept is pretty much old. People are looking for active scenario, right? Because network point of view, before we had some protocol limitations, right? Protocol limitations was you can only go with the a specific. You can run the OTP, for example. You can run the HSRP between the data center. And limitation was those protocols cannot provide you the active scenario. Okay, they were high available protocol. It means if one down, they can come up. It was like hot standby. Now the technology has evolved. Like since VXLAN came in the picture, we have an active data center scenario. It means your work mobility can be stretched across the multiple locations without changing your MAC address and IP address, right? You can spin up your VM in one data center. Tomorrow you can spin up same VM, same IP address, same MAC address in another VM, another data center. With the active scenario, we have it. So that's where technology is moving. That's what we are going to discuss in VXLAN based solutions. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir. No. But sir, you have to showing the some product information. Let's suppose the Sonic OS. Can we get into a for a which devices in a Nexus are you talking about that? The Sonic OS supported hypervisor.
I will be showing you the Sonic OS lab also. Don't worry about it. But not on the Nexus because that's we do not have that any VM which support that Sonic. However, I will be walking through how Sonic OS works with the lab. Okay, in different hardware in NVIDIA hardware. Okay, we have NVIDIA lab where we have a Sonic OS. So in the other day, you just need to understand the Sonic OS, how Sonic OS works. Doesn't matter whether it deployed or not ACI, oh sorry, Nexus or any other vendor, command line syntax will be same for Sonic OS.
So a quick question on this Sony OS, which hardwares it actually collaborates?
So we have a specific hardware. See here, these are the models.
Not
Certain
only
model
not only the Cisco, not the Cisco. Is there any other?
yes. Sonic also having their own hardware. Okay, they also support in NVIDIA switches. Okay, they
Okay.
nowadays having a Nexus. They have their own Sonic hardware. Okay,
Oh,
which you can purchase from open market.
Okay, so Sonic was having like NVIDIA switches, Nexus, which is Cisco,
There are
and
many. I think there are a couple of more switches which I don't know, to be honest. I just know the
okay,
three because they are the famous one, right? Which I
okay.
have
They,
worked so far. I have worked on the NVIDIA and Nexus with the Sonic OS. But I have not deployed any Sonic hardware, so I do not know if there is any other, hardware which support the Sonic. There must be some.
Okay.
yes, there are white label switches from Beyond Edge
Yeah,
that
as I said,
supports
there are
Sonic.
many vendors which must be. They are small. I've never worked on, so I do not know really.
And if possible, can you tell us like little bit if whenever you have a session regarding the NVIDIA switches also?
I can. In fact, I will showing you the lab. Okay, so I can. Yeah, in Nexus module. Okay, in Nexus module, I can keep you 1 hour session with the NVIDIA also. Okay,
Okay.
NVIDIA lab basic. Okay, how these things works, everything. They have Commulex switches. They have NV link switches. So yeah, they have like this one. If we go for NVIDIA.
Mellanox.
Mellanox switches. Mellanox is they have Mellanox is kind of their ASIC. Okay. Uh, I have this, like, this is the lab I have. Okay, where you can, I used it. NVIDIA networking hardware. Okay, they have 400 gig, 500 gig hardware, which is very impressive. I was, I did record it one. I took the one basic NVIDIA course. Uh, I'm planning to have some professional level certification for this to 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 have a better understanding of this. So if you see the InfiniBand lab switches, we have many other switches, 9,000 switches also. If you go for it, InfiniBand, they have Mellanox, they have Commulex. There are many. I mean, switches which data center. If we click here. If we go for the no, not these are they are very expensive. In fact, I was looking the billing of material level trying to create for one of the client, but they are too expensive to operate. Okay, where is that? I will show in the hard. This is the spectrum. Okay, these are the switches, which are the main core switches where Cisco is afraid of. These are and they are very much. They only problem is they are not networking company. Okay, they're simply designing the hardware without keeping any sense. So if you go for the spectrum based switches, which is good, but it's very hard to operate because everything you have to do it manually via the automation. So it's kind of it's nightmare for any client. That's where
Oh,
Cisco is taking advantage and saying that I already have inbuilt interface where all the vendors already know that they're look here. This is the kind of switches where they're trying to pitch, but I don't think they will have a better success on this. But yeah, it's a bit risk to know that because Nvidia is expanding their market share in the market.
and this NVIDIA switches only uses Sonic OS, right?
They have their own OS as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have their own OS as well, not just
Cumulus.
only Sony.
They have
Own
Sorry,
got
OS
Cumulus.
is also compatible to Sonic?
which one?
No, is this you said like NVIDIA supports Sonic, right? So it has its own OS and also supports Sonic too?
Yes,
Okay.
See,
and
this
basically
Cumulus
NV
Linux is
yeah, Cumulex is the software which they have. Cumulex is the Linux is basically the Kali Linux or Linux is the baseline OS for this. They have they support by default native hardware with the VXLAN solutions. Okay,
I think
Cumulex is
they
the software here.
they are selling the orchestration GUI separately, the automation
They are.
module separately. So
Yeah, they are.
yeah, it's not like a full package like Cisco ACI, but
Yeah, that's where Cisco is, taking advantage of it. And it's good, if they, purchase, and they have partnered. So NVIDIA and Cisco having a partnership now. NVIDIA provides a GPU for Cisco compute like UCS, another thing. And also they are also providing GPU for their new hardware, like Nexus switches also. So Cisco, yeah, that is where we are. Okay, I will be discussing in one class, so don't worry about it. I can discuss it. Okay. All right, guys. I will be concluding here today. We'll continue in next class. Okay.
sir, we are supposed to make a group for us, right? In
Yes.
what
So
Aratai.
Arata, yeah. So Vishal, you there? Vishal.
Moreover, this the topic will be required for a cover. Like it could be sufficient for a 3 month, or what time would be required
Yes. Yeah. So
to complete the
basically, I do not spend too much time on the Nexus. Okay. For the Nexus, I cover the limited topics which are valid for now. But I do not cover the FabricPath. I do not cover the OTP because they are no longer used in anywhere in the industry. I just simply spend Nexus with your high availability, and VXLAN is a major topic which we're going to discuss on the Nexus device and architecture point of view. So Nexus, the main thing I spend a lot of time on ACI because that is something which can be tricky for the new users. So ACI is the main point of discussion. Then compute, and yeah, then in hyperfabric, other things.
So in compute and storage, uh, are we going to discuss the hardware also, or from
I will be hardware
networking
and
perspective? Yeah.
hardware I'm going to discuss. Plus, I'm going to I will show the one lab where I will be booting the OS on the boot from basically iSCSI or NFS on the UCS hardware.
Okay. So like we will be able to see like vSphere and other things,
Yes.
how we are going to configure that hardware, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
gonna
So
see the policy base, how to create the policy for the
Mhm.
EXXI to install. Okay, because UCS is all about the policy and profiling. So what
Right. Right.
profile and policy, how you create, how you associate, how you push the policy to boot or pick the OS from the remote locations. Okay.
Okay. And regarding the hardware, are we creating the BOM for storage and compute as well? Or
If you want, we can create it, but usually I do not create it. But if you want, I can create it with you guys if you want to. Okay.
yeah, just to understand from the capacity building perspective, right? What type of servers and compute
Yeah,
hardware we
sure.
can.
We
Yeah.
can go ahead. Yeah, we can create it. UCS, Unibase UCS is very rare customer who uses. Many customers prefer to go with HP and other. But yeah, we can do it. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hello, Vijay sir.
Yep.
Can we get your LinkedIn profile if there is no objection?
LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I will share that. I need to check it. I never update LinkedIn profile.
Yes, please.
And the duration of this class would be 1.5 hours, like from 9 to 10:30, right?
Yeah, 1.5 depends on the topic to topic. There is no fixed 1.5 hours. It can be 1 hours. It can be depends on the topic to topic. Some topic may finish in 45 minutes. Some topic may takes 2 hours. Right.
Right.
One
Right.
day,
And
one topic we're gonna cover.
okay. And duration would be like overall
We
course
we
duration.
target to complete 3.5 months. Okay, if everything
Mhm.
goes fine from my end, because I will be one who sometime I may miss the class due to the some because I'm also working, right?
Right.
Sometime I also miss the class 1 or 2 in a week due to some urgency. Sometime I available. So depends on. I target 3.5 month. Okay, that's the
Okay.
time frame. frame we are looking for.
Okay, okay.
All right, guys, then we'll see you next class.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vijay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.